Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? There were a lot of things I seen, and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be.
Breaking news, folks. And I'm not talking about my Aunt Mildred's hip after that ill-advised TikTok dance. No, this is real breaking news. The kind that makes your morning coffee taste like pure, unadulterated scandal. We're talking about the federal courtroom, a place usually about as lively as a tax audit, suddenly becoming the hottest ticket in town. Why, you ask? Because none other than R&B royalty, the smooth-voiced crooner himself, Usher Raymond, took the stand in the utterly baffling, jaw-dropping, and frankly stomach-churning trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Now let's set the scene, shall we? Inner city press. Those intrepid journalistic heroes who brave the fluorescent lights and questionable coffee of federal courthouses reported the courtroom was dead silent. And honestly, who could blame them? When the judge called the next witness, all eyes turned to the back, probably expecting some bespectacled accountant or a stern-faced legal eagle. But no, out stepped Usher. Yes, that Usher. The one who taught us how to "you remind me" and serenaded us with confessions. The collective gasp in that room must have been audible from the International Space Station. This wasn't about a new album, folks. This wasn't about a squabble over royalties. This was about Diddy's alleged criminal enterprise of trafficking, coercion, and abuse.
Another expectation that we have today, we're hoping to hear from some of the government's witnesses. They said they're hoping to present 3 witnesses this week, and that includes Cassie Ventura, like you mentioned, longtime former girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs. She's seen as one of the central witnesses to the prosecution's case.
Suddenly, the air was thicker than a New York City bagel. For years, Usher, bless his silky smooth soul, has been a master of the interview dodge. He'd smile that million-dollar smile, give you the standard PR spiel, and gracefully pirouette around any question that even hinted at the dark underbelly of the music biz. He played the game, he smiled through interviews, he probably even perfected the "I'm just so grateful for my fans" nod. But now, with Diddy facing charges so serious they make your average jaywalking ticket look like a Nobel Peace Prize, Usher decided to unleash the truth. And boy, did he unleash it. He apparently told the court that this truth has been eating him alive. Let me tell you, if I had to keep secrets like these locked inside, I'd probably be eating a lot more than just my feelings. Probably an entire tub of Ben & Jerry's and then some. Usher's testimony isn't just shocking. It's historic. It's the kind of bombshell that could change everything. Not just for Diddy, but for the entire glittering, often murky world of entertainment. Imagine, if you will, the collective spit takes happening in Hollywood Hills mansions as Usher spilled the tea. Or, more accurately, the industrial-sized vat of scalding, boiling, unpasteurized truth. He started by rewinding the tape to a time when he was just 14, fresh-faced, full of dreams, and probably still rocking some questionable early 2000s fashion choices. He was told by his mom that he was off to live with Diddy in New York. L.A. Reid, bless his well-intentioned heart, thought this was a brilliant idea, a mentorship that would fast-track Usher's success. Oh, sweet summer children. None of them, not even in their wildest nightmares, could have imagined the kind of world Usher was about to step into.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what
Camp.
it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Did L.A. Reid have a crystal ball that was on the fritz that day? Or was Diddy just that good at maintaining a pristine public facade? "I thought I was going to learn how to be a star," Usher told the court. His voice described as steady but tight. And let me tell you, when Usher's voice is tight, you know things are serious. This isn't a man who tightens his voice over a missed flight. This is a man who tightens his voice when the foundations of his reality are crumbling faster than a stale cracker. What I saw instead were things no teenager should be around. Folks, that's what we call an understatement. a colossal, gargantuan, Mount Everest-sized understatement. He testified that from the moment he entered Diddy's Midtown Manhattan penthouse, the environment was saturated in excess. Champagne on breakfast trays? Strangers waking up in rooms he didn't even know existed? People he later recognized from TV and magazines, lounging half-dressed or passed out? That, my friends, is not a home. That is a scene. A scene from a movie that you probably wouldn't want your grandma watching. He called it the flavor camp. Usher, with his innocent 14-year-old brain, thought it was just branding. Oh, Usher. Later, he realized it meant indulgence. And not the good kind of indulgence, like an extra scoop of ice cream. More like the what on earth is happening here kind. The court, I'm told, listened intently. They probably had to. I imagine the judge was leaning forward, her gavel probably trembling slightly. Usher described how the mentorship quickly veered off course. Diddy wasn't teaching him about vocals or performance.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See? When he was just getting his foot in the music industry's door, a 13-year-old Usher spent a year living with Combs. Usher opened up about this experience in a 2016 interview with Howard Stern.
Instead, Usher claimed he was encouraged to observe the lifestyle, to party with celebrities, and to stop asking questions. He was told, "This is how we do it. You don't ask, you just watch. Learn by watching. That's how grown men roll." Frankly, if that's how grown men roll, I'm perfectly content to remain a perpetual child. Then came the truly chilling part. Usher recalled waking up around 3 a.m. to find people in masks entering the apartment. Music was playing low. Candles lit the hallway. He walked into the living room and saw what he could only describe as a ritualistic party. He emphasized it wasn't just sex. There was structure to it. Cameras, lists, and no one looked surprised. Cameras? Lists? This sounds less like a party and more like a twisted dystopian reality show. He thought he'd walked onto a movie set. He remembered thinking, I shouldn't be seeing this. He was told to go back to bed, but he didn't sleep that night. That, he said, was the moment that changed how he saw Diddy forever. And honestly, if that didn't change him, I don't know what would. Maybe a parade of actual unicorns riding unicycles. The next segment of Usher's testimony focused on the warnings he never received. Not from his record label, not from his mother, not from the industry insiders who apparently all knew what Diddy's world really looked like. People thought Diddy was eccentric, Usher explained. They didn't realize he had power over people in a way that was quiet, but absolute. If Diddy didn't like you, your career stalled. If he liked you, your silence was part of the deal. It sounds like a real-life game of musical chairs, but instead of losing a chair, you lost your entire career. Usher told the jury there were others like him. Young artists, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, promised a fast track to fame, only to be slowly pulled into Diddy's orbit in ways they couldn't comprehend at the time.
Usher said that he didn't, quote, understand what he was even looking at, and, quote, very curious things were taking place.
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
Perhaps most telling, Usher made it clear that he wouldn't want his children attending, quote, Puffy Camp like their father.
He didn't name names yet, which is a classic cliffhanger move, hinting that more would come forward. There were people around us who saw, he said, referencing assistants, drivers, other musicians. Everybody acted like it was normal, but deep down they knew the adults failed us. And that, my friends, is a truly heartbreaking thought. A whole ecosystem of enablers, silently complicit. Then came a truly disturbing moment. A private trip to the Caribbean when Usher was just 15. It was supposed to be a retreat, he said. Just me, him, and a couple others. Isolated, no press, no cameras. And that's where he realized he wasn't there to learn anything about music. He paused, probably for dramatic effect, or maybe just to gather his thoughts, which I can only imagine were a tangled mess of trauma. I won't go into everything, he said, but what I will say is that I wasn't given a choice about the environment I was placed in, and it took me years to understand the manipulation. The courtroom, predictably, was silent. You could hear a pin drop, probably even a dust bunny hitting the carpet. After that trip, Usher's relationship with Diddy morphed. The mogul became more controlling. More new people, more parties, more rules. Every time Usher pushed back, even slightly, he was reminded who made his career. You don't bite the hand that feeds you, Diddy allegedly told him. Remember who gave you this life. Usher, with a newfound boldness that probably sent shivers down Diddy's spine, ended that segment by looking directly at Diddy and declared, "You didn't give me this life."
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
Although he made it sound like a blast, Usher hinted at something more disturbing beneath the surface.
"You gave me nightmares." Boom. Mic drop. Or rather, a chilling truth bomb drop. Usher's third portion of testimony was perhaps the most stunning. Like finding out your sweet, innocent grandma is actually a master hacker. At 16, he was presented with a contract that included a confidentiality clause. It was couched as a standard NDA to protect Bad Boy Records' internal dealings. But Usher claimed it had specific language about private events and discretion. He didn't even know what half the words meant at the time. His mother had to co-sign, and the label's lawyers, with their perfectly coiffed hair and inscrutable expressions, said it was standard. Now looking back, Usher knew what it was. A contract to keep me quiet. That signature bought my silence for years, he confessed. He wasn't allowed to speak about parties, guests, or behaviors. He was told it would ruin the brand. But what about what it did to him? That's the real question, isn't it? The brand versus the broken spirit. A no-brainer for most of us, but apparently not for the music industry. He said that clause was invoked years later in 2009 when he tried to speak out during an interview. The questions started getting personal, and suddenly, he got a call from Bad Boy's old legal team. They reminded him of his NDA. "We hope you're not trying to jeopardize your reputation," they allegedly said. Subtle as a brick to the face, wouldn't you agree? He never went through with the interview. And it wasn't just lawyers. Usher claimed he received veiled threats from people still tied to Diddy's empire. "You think you're done with that world, but it's never done with you. And if you step out of line, there are consequences, not just to your career, but to your safety." The courtroom, I imagine, sat frozen.
And so we're going to have a lot of information coming at these jurors fast and furiously. We will see Sean Diddy Combs in court today to decide what the fate will be. But opening statements, Sarah, this is the moment you're going to hear from the prosecution to lay out their case. What will they allege? What do they want the jurors to know, to hang on to, and what will be an 8 to 10 week trial?
You could almost hear the collective teeth chattering. Then, for dramatic effect, Usher pulled out a copy of the NDA. The judge, bless her heart, allowed it as evidence. It included language about audiovisual documentation and unauthorized reproduction, phrases that, in the light of Diddy's alleged freak-off video library, took on a truly sinister tone. Usher's voice, usually a beacon of calm, cracked slightly. "That document made me feel like I was crazy for years," he said. "Like everything I saw. Everything I felt wasn't real because I wasn't allowed to say it out loud." Imagine carrying that burden for so long. It's enough to make anyone question their sanity. Usher's voice wavered as he described a lesser-known moment from 1996 when he was just 17. Diddy took him to an exclusive mansion party in Atlanta. This, Usher said, was a pivotal moment, reshaping how he viewed his once mentor. Diddy was in full party host mode. The house filled with celebrities, models, and mysterious men who didn't seem connected to the music industry at all. He wasn't expecting what he saw next. The house was lavish, as you'd expect from a music mogul. Marble floors, security at every door, a DJ spinning until sunrise. But it wasn't the luxury that stood out. It was the secret room. Usher remembered Diddy whispering to a security guard who opened a locked door at the back of the mansion. "You're not ready for that yet," Diddy allegedly said, with a grin. A grin. Usher said he peeked in anyway. His description? There were people in masks. That's all I'll say. He didn't know what he was looking at. But then, he uttered words that made everyone in the courtroom shift in their seats. "I think that night changed me," Usher confessed. "I saw things I still can't explain. I don't know if it was legal, but I know it wasn't right." Folks, when a man who has seen it all, done it all, and probably danced on a few tables in his time, says something wasn't right, you know it was deeply fundamentally wrong. He then held up photocopied pages from a journal. Ah, the journal. The silent confidant. The keeper of secrets. Usher explained he started writing it in 1998, originally for song lyrics and thoughts. But it became a vault of personal memories and observations from his time around Diddy.
Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long. How much did we drink?
You trying to say something, Usher?
I'm trying to say something.
What do you want to say?
I don't know if I should.
One entry from March 1999 read, Had dinner with Diddy and 3 execs I didn't know. They kept talking about loyalty. Said, loyalty keeps you on tour. Honesty puts you back home. Diddy laughed, a chilling insight into the twisted logic of that world. Another passage, October 2000, described a Thursday night invite he declined. Too many secrets, too many masks. Diddy says it's just the culture? I don't agree. Did you ever tell anyone about these entries? The prosecutor asked. Usher shook his head. I was afraid of losing everything. I didn't think anyone would believe me. When asked why now, his answer was simple, yet profound. Because I've lived with it long enough, and it's time the truth comes out. And thank goodness for that, because we, the eager public, are here for every single shocking syllable. Usher then leaned into the microphone, probably bracing himself, and revealed an encounter he hadn't even told his closest friends. In 1997, at age 18, Diddy invited him to meet a powerful music investor in Miami, someone who could fund Usher's first world tour and build his brand. I thought it was about business, Usher explained. Diddy hyped it up like it was the biggest break of my life. He told me to dress up, look sharp, and be polite. Words that now sound incredibly sinister. When Usher arrived at the penthouse suite at the Setai Hotel, he found 3 men lounging in robes, high-end champagne, and several young women sitting quietly in the background. One of them, from overseas, asked him if he wanted to be remembered forever. Usher said he wasn't talking about music. Diddy, the alleged orchestrator of this nightmare, then left him alone with the men. I felt trapped, Usher testified. They didn't touch me. But one of them put his hand on my shoulder and said, you can stay or you can leave, but you'll never get another invitation like this again.
People claim that Usher allegedly got uncomfortable after speaking to Diddy at the dinner table.
It's nothing like fellowshipping, you know? So we see each other around, but we don't get it. Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long.
How much did we drink?
I don't even know what's going on.
He left, and that's when things started to change. Usher was removed from a tour opportunity, and a prominent producer suddenly pulled out of working with him. No one ever said it was because I left that suite, Usher explained. But after that night, doors that had always been open suddenly shut. This, my friends, is the insidious nature of power. The unspoken threats, the chilling consequences that don't require a single word. Usher also testified that Diddy showed him a disturbing clip from a handheld camera a few weeks later. Diddy laughed as he played it back. It was of another young artist, doing something I know he wouldn't have agreed to unless someone made him. Did Diddy threaten you? The attorney asked. Usher paused. He didn't have to. The people around him did. They didn't use words. They used silence and exile. And that, Usher said, was the moment he realized fame was no longer about talent. It was about submission. That's how you stayed famous in Diddy's world. A truly terrifying revelation about the price of stardom. Usher's tone turned personal as the courtroom lights dimmed slightly, cameras now fixed solely on his face. This is the hardest part, he said, because it's not about me anymore. And that's when he dropped the other bombshell, the one that made my jaw hit the floor with a resounding thud. He began to describe the early days of Justin Bieber's rise. Usher, the mentor, the co-signer, the big brother Bieber never had. At the beginning, it was all positive. I wanted to be the big brother I never had, Usher said. But then Diddy entered the picture.
You trying to say something, Usher?
I'm trying to say something.
What do you want to say?
I don't know if I should, but I'm
What?
trying.
You drank a beer, you drank 2 shots of tequila.
Yeah, right.
You drank
Fired
1
up.
Caipirosha.
Let me say it, fired up. Yeah. That's your group, right? Fired up.
I like that.
According to Usher, Diddy began inviting Bieber to parties, calling it Flavor Camp, the very same ominous phrase he used with Usher years earlier. He was 15, Usher said, and they were treating him like a grown man. Oh, the horror. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. One night in 2011, Usher got a call from Bieber. Silence then. I want to come home. Bieber then went silent for 2 days. When they finally met, Bieber wouldn't look Usher in the eye. It's fine. I'm good now, Bieber said, but he wasn't. Usher testified. He then revealed he confronted Diddy privately. What are you doing to these kids? He asked. According to Usher, Diddy chuckled and replied, same thing they did to me. It's how the game works. Usher said that was the last serious conversation he had with Diddy. After that, I stepped back. I didn't want my name tied to it, but watching what happened to Justin, I couldn't stay silent anymore. And then, another bombshell. In 2018, he received an anonymous call. Tell him to keep his mouth shut or we'll shut it for him. When asked who he believed was behind the call, Usher looked directly at the defense table. I think you know, chilling. absolutely chilling. The breaking point in Usher's relationship with Diddy, he revealed, came during an infamous night in 2002 at a private party in the Hollywood Hills. It was described as a rite of passage rather than a party, involving young artists and models under the impression of career opportunities. Usher was invited under the guise of meeting a new European producer, but there were no executives, just dim lighting, security, and aggressive NDAs. The vibe was wrong, Usher's voice reportedly breaking for the first time. There were people there who weren't artists. They weren't executives.
We're also expecting to hear from an escort who is seen as a witness in this case as well. We heard last week from the defense they're planning on attacking Ventura as well, saying that she was mutual in the domestic violence in this case, saying that she was violent toward Combs.
I realized they were just observers. He recognized famous faces but refused to name them, hinting that more will come forward. The most harrowing part came when he tried to leave early and was stopped by an unknown man and brought to a side room where Diddy was seated. Diddy allegedly told him, "You're not ready yet. You still think this is about music. This is bigger than that." Usher left that night and never returned to another Diddy party. Usher's testimony then pivoted to Diddy's business practices. He submitted internal emails and contract drafts, revealing he signed a development deal as a teen, locking him into 5 albums and giving away his master rights until age 35. "I didn't know what I was signing," Usher admitted. "I just wanted to sing." He exposed similar contracts for other bad boy artists, alleging a pattern of Diddy discarding artists once they were no longer useful or obedient. He even revealed a spreadsheet showing over $4.3 million in missed royalties. When he confronted Diddy, Diddy allegedly laughed and said, "If you knew what was really owed to you, you wouldn't sleep at night." Court documents also showed several artists took settlements in silence. Usher revealed he tried to organize a secret meeting with other artists in 2011 to address grievances, but it was tipped off to Diddy. Even more damning, he claimed he once saw Diddy order the destruction of demo tapes and footage from an artist who threatened to speak out. That artist, Usher said, has since vanished from public life. The courtroom fell silent once more. In the final, heartbreaking part of his testimony, Usher broke down when asked why he never came forward earlier. "Because I thought I owed him," he sobbed. "I thought if I stayed silent, I could move on and still be grateful. But you can't be grateful for a lie."
Today in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, "a little nervous." The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. He is sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. The two sides are now in the process of selecting a jury of 12, plus all.
The guilt, he said, had eaten at him for years. He watched other young artists fall into the same trap, feeling helpless. It was always about leverage, he said, and Diddy had all of it. He revealed a 2016 attempt to confront Diddy privately was blocked by Diddy's legal team. What truly struck the courtroom was an unpublished journal entry from the night he left Diddy's mentorship for good. "I survived Puffy, but did the kid in me survive? I still don't know." He addressed the court, victims watching online, and the younger generation. "This isn't just about one man. It's about an entire system that told kids like me to be quiet, to stay in line, and to never question the hands that fed us. But I'm here now, and I'm not afraid anymore. Not for me, because I've already lived through it. I'm doing this for the ones who didn't." The courtroom stood silent, witnessing a reckoning. But wait, there's more. The public never knew that at the height of his early fame, after 8701 in 2001, Usher quietly disappeared for a week. Industry insiders assumed a break, but in court, Usher revealed he checked into a private mental health facility in Northern California under a false name. The cause? Unresolved trauma from his time with Diddy. He started experiencing panic attacks after turning 20, triggered by flashing lights, tight crowds, certain music. It all came rushing back one night in a New York hotel, coincidentally a former Diddy party location. "I walked into the hallway and I smelled the same brand of candles he used to burn," Usher told the court. "My whole body froze. I started shaking. I couldn't breathe." His team rushed him to a clinic for 5 days of observation. What he told the psychiatrist he revealed to the jury, he'd never said publicly. "I told him I saw things no kid should see."
Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, testified today. You remember that CNN last year published a hotel surveillance video from 2016 showing Combs attacking Ventura. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. If convicted, Sean Combs could spend the rest of his life in prison.
I lived in a world where power meant silence and survival meant smiling through it. That house wasn't just a crash pad. It was a place where dreams were sold. But your soul was the price. Usher was diagnosed with PTSD, taking nearly 2 years of therapy to sleep through the night. He hinted at others who suffered similar fates, young artists who disappeared, had breakdowns, but were too afraid to speak. I was lucky. I had the money to get help, but some of the others didn't. One of them overdosed, another tried to take his life, and a third, he just vanished. When asked why he kept this secret for over 2 decades, Usher didn't flinch, because nobody would have believed me in 2001. Puffy was untouchable, and I was just the kid with the voice. But now the world is ready to listen. And listen, we will. The court went still, absorbing the implications. Behind every platinum record, every Grammy speech, every sold-out show, a silent war raged in a young artist's mind. And now, finally, Usher is speaking up, not just for himself, but for every voice drowned out by the music. This isn't just news, folks. This is a seismic shift, and we're just getting started.